Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and entertain the idea of if anyone has any questions or comments for the commissioners or other interesting things. I know we got a lot of the good things going on up at Packwood here in the next 2 weeks. So, aside from that, Steve?
I want to give a quick briefing on the declaration. It was declared by the President on the 21st of this month. Our governor submitted it on the 5th, and this is in regards to the public assistance. So we can expect that we will have a application briefing and application submittal, and then a kickoff for the damage that was incurred as a result of the storms for the last part of January through February 22nd. We're still looking at this point at $1.178 million as far as the damage within Lewis County. We're one of 13 counties that has been declared. There were other counties that that submitted, but they did not meet their threshold. So we're going to be real busy getting this money back into Lewis County. About $250,000 of it is coming back directly to our public works. So just thought I'd let you know that that's where we're at with that process.
Could you just explain that? And I remember the one meeting we were at over at Hampton there about how important all counties to report their damage.
Well, two things. This is not public assistance. It's public assistance. It's not individual assistance. And all cities, all taxing districts, all counties, when we have a storm of this magnitude, to be able to track and report the damages, because each county has a threshold based on their population which they must meet to qualify for this reimbursement from FEMA. We meet ours every single time. However, the state has about a $9.5 million threshold that they have to meet, and when they add everything together, if they don't meet it, even if we've exceeded ours by 10 times, it doesn't do us any good. So the counties and the cities should all be working together to gather their damage assessments and get those submitted in the timeframes that we have. That doesn't preclude them, now that it has been declared, for coming back into, and a lot of people wait to expend the time to see if there's a declaration by the president, and then they jump on the bandwagon. But we've missed some declarations as a result of that in the past, which turned into millions and millions of dollars. So we encourage the other counties and all the cities to report. We have training classes on this on a yearly basis. So in my opinion, there's really no excuse not to be part of this program and help one another out. It was brought up in this round here that actually, while we don't necessarily agree with everything King County does up there, they are instrumental even when they don't hit their threshold numbers in helping us get the declaration. They're not part of this declaration, but the numbers that they put forth got us over that $9.5 million. So I guess that's one thing I can say thank you to King County for.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Just thinking about King County, I heard that they broke records for rain this season, and I imagine we in Lewis County probably have done the same, and knock on wood, we didn't have any severe flooding this year. So with all that rain, that's pretty amazing. Do we want to acknowledge our new reporter from the Chronicle? You're back, yes. Oh, good. Sure.
So I apologize if I am playing a little bit of catch up, so if this is repeat information, I apologize for that. But regarding the Blue Ribbon Task Force, I was wondering how those individuals on that task force were selected, the process that went into that.
Well, we wanted to have a widespread view of the county. So you see, like, we have Lonnie Willie that Commissioner Jackson asked from the west side of the county, and then we have folks from the Onalaska Alliance folks, mid-county, and then we have Lee Gross from the far county, and then we have people from the Twin Cities. So we try to have a good view of the county being represented.
Okay, and so how did you guys reach out to them? Were they interested in this? How did that go about?
We brainstormed on individuals, and there had been a previous group that had looked into this, had started that, so we thought we would invite one of those folks in, and that's Larry McGee, so they could represent that particular group.
Okay, and then so they will provide you a recommendation within 6 weeks? They meet for 6 weeks?
Yes.
And then after that, what is the process for you guys after they provide you with that recommendation? What are the next steps and timeline?
Well, when we get that, then we'll know what we have to offer, what they're offering to us. And I should say, our first meeting is this Tuesday from 1 to 3, and Steve Walton, who's going to be the board liaison in getting that together, and they're meeting, room 121? 9 to 11 a.m. So that's the kickoff. And so what we're expecting from them, are recommendations, and then we take a look at those recommendations, because it can take various forms, and we want them to really take a look at what are other counties doing, what's best practices out there, and what could we learn and maybe advance ourselves beyond some of those best practices.
Okay. Deal. Thank
Thank you, and welcome back.
Yes. Oh, Thailand, that's right.
Ron Averill from the Greater Centralia area. We had a meeting of the Flood Authority last Thursday, and as you know, we're moving on to a new reorganization within the state on the Flood Authority. We have been working with the governor's work group, which handles the big items such as the dam and fish and aquatic species restoration. And then the Flood Authority works on issues for the cities and the counties, basically in flood management and smaller projects. As a bill that passed a session ago, not this current session, but the one previous, we are now going to have the Chehalis Basin office in the Department of Ecology running the program that had previously been running out of the governor's office. And that office will have an advisory board which will basically do the things which were previously covered by the work group. And I am pleased to tell you that among the people that will be on that new advisory board is Commissioner Funn.
Thank you.
Representing the, one of the people representing the Flood Authority, and Jay Vanderstoep, who was very prominent in the work group, is a governor's appointment to that work group. There is he also appointed an environmentalist, and I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Micah or something like that.
Mark.
And then from the old work group, Vicki Rains and Jay Gordon will continue on. So a new process. It will kick in on the 1st of July. And they'll be a little bit busy trying to figure out where they're going to go
Yes.
from the start.
It's going to be very hectic.
Yes.
And Ron serves on the chair of the project committee, and I have to tell you that there's been a lot of projects that have been moving forward as a result of that committee, and it's benefited a lot of groups and people in Lewis County. So thank you for your work, too.
Thank you, Ron, for that. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay.
I have a comment regarding the legislature.
Okay.
Many of you know that they went out of session and they're coming back into session for special session. And there's several initiatives we're still watching very closely. And the ballot boxes, that is really an unfunded mandate for us. And there's 2 bills out there, and we've been working with our auditor to say, please veto the bill that's on the governor's desk, because it doesn't come with any money to do anything, and we testified on that. You know, we have ballot boxes at the Toledo Senior Center. I'm seeing one of our friends from Toledo here today. We've got them all over, and this bill would make us put ballot boxes in anything with a zip code or a post office box. And then when you think about the number of people that it takes to maintain that and to pick up those ballots during voting season, and then the night you have to send 2 people out to verify and close those boxes at 8. I mean, it is a large deal, and Larry and his folks work really hard, and to add 8 more boxes is pretty tough without any money. Indigent defense, that still hits us hard. I feel like I'm a broken record on that, but 1.2 million last year. We got 200,000 reimbursement from the state. We understand that's probably a dead bill for us this year, and hopefully next year, after they get education funding out of the way, then we can get help there. And I know the sheriff has been working on jail medical and left to, I mean, there's a lot of things in the legislature that are difficult for us to fund if they are signed by the governor's office. And we are preparing a document on the request of Senator Braun regarding unfunded mandates, things that we have to do, we're told to do, but there's no money provided for us to do them. So we'll continue on. Hopefully the session will end in May, and hopefully not June or July. We're wanting the earlier time.
And I believe this Friday is the witching hour for the federal government also, which will not have a huge impact on us, but we do have federal programs, so they need to fund the government, so we'll see what happens, and that is this Friday. And apparently there's been some talk about pushing that date, but this time, so all these things do add up, and we'll be meeting with the budget people, and they give us a clear picture on this. And unfortunately, when we're at we'll call it the mercy of the feds and the states, it's somewhat difficult from time to time. So,
I wanted to offer a congratulations for a good event to the sheriff regarding Target Zero on a Friday night. It was a wonderful event, and it brought to home the issues we have. And when we think about the two young women who were killed in July of last year, and some unattentive drivers who were taking selfies while going 73 miles an hour down the freeway and hit this car and killed those two ladies. It was very impactful. I wish we had a video of what she had to say, because she outlined like what happened, the timeline, and the folks from Centralia getting on the freeway and their dog and trying to take a selfie and had their car set for 73 miles an hour and just maneuvering, and there was no sign that car ever slowed down. It just hit. And the sister of one of the gals in the car was telling this story, and it was very impactful for me. I don't know about you, Commissioner Stamper, but if we could just take a video and have people watch that. It just painted a picture that we need to be mindful of when we use our cell phones or even eating food or putting, whatever we do, unattentive driving. But thank you very much for that. And they did a lot of honoring of our sheriff's deputies and state patrol and Toledo and Windlock police departments. It was a good event. Thank you.
Very nice event. Okay. Anything, Commissioner Jackson? Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here, and we look forward to seeing everyone soon.
You are invited to immerse yourself in the beauty of nature in all four corners of Lewis County, Washington. From our fields to your table, farms in the west share their bounty. Limitless landscapes, forests and mountains beg to be explored in the east. Fish our many rivers and lakes in the south, and discover where history and culture intersect in our Twin Cities. Explore it all by visiting our Facebook page and plan your next getaway at discoverlewiscounty.com. Culture, history, and adventure all come alive when you discover Lewis County.